Excellent. Alright. Sorry, just got that one up and running on YouTube. So hi, hello, welcome. We're just playing some Teenage Exocolonist. Should be showing up. There we go. Excellent. So, you were born on the Stratospheric, Earth's first colony ship. Halfway through its 20-year voyage to a wormhole at the edge of the Sol system. Your parents run the hydroponic gardens, which make fresh air and vegetables for the ship. Like the other colonists, they bravely choose to make this one-way journey to the uncharted planet of Vitumna 4. Yeah, there's 4. In the hope that they can escape Earth's troubles. They had you the old-fashioned way, merging their genes like they merged their cultures and traditions. They name you. Let's go with Selene. Solana. Go with Solana. Yep, we're going to be a she. You are a bright-eyed child with an active imagination. Sometimes too active, your mum says. Use the sliders on the left to choose your pronouns. Late teens appearances can be changed at any time. That's fine. I'm happy with that. Okay. Now, you have vivid dreams of things you've never experienced. Dirt under your feet, skies overhead, endless jungles, and strange animals. You wonder if this is what Vitumna will be like. Every child on the Stratospheric is given one genetic enhancement. By age 6, you see the first signs of yours. Okay, so this is where we get to choose our first genetic enhancement. I'm gonna go with Eagle Eyes, I think. Yeah, so your eyes have both eagle and our DNA, so you have superhuman long distance and night vision. Not only can you see all the way to the holojet projector from the back of the classroom, but you can read Professor Howe's private holopalm notes. What's Professor Howe up to? Sometimes they say confidential, which is exciting, but you don't understand most of the big words. Checks out. The other kids think you're a little weird, except... Who do we want to be our friend? Yeah, that's the thing. I think we're gonna go with Cal. Yeah, we're gonna go with Cal. Cal is a sweetheart, always ready to lend a hand or play a game. He and Tammy are just as inseparable, so it's almost like you have two best friends instead of just one. Cal teaches you how to take care of the classroom plants. Your parents are very proud of both of you. Yeah, Cal. I like that. Let's go with Cal. You're 10 years old when the ship finally reaches the wormhole. Professor Howell says it's like a doorway to other star systems, with the planet Vitumna 4 on the other side. You run emergency drills for months to prepare. When the day finally comes, it starts with a rumble, and then things start to slide off the tables. Words are hard, mate. You hurry together near the escape pods just in case. The emergency area is crowded with families. It's going to be fine, Solana, your dad soothes. We'll be through the wormhole and down on the planet before you know it, just like we practiced. Your mum gives him a sharp, worried look. Spooky. Mum's got some fucking rockin' earrings. Red emergency lights switch on as a siren begins to sound somewhere distant in the ship. You try to breathe slowly like you were taught, but you're very scared. You look out a porthole. The stars are gone. When you're frightened, I guess we get in touch with our emotions because we have empathy 5 or greater. We don't have any of the others, so we don't have any other options. So you bawl like a baby. It feels good. You aren't the only one. Nearby, your classmate Tammy has tears streaming down her cheeks. Mars is trying to quietly console her. She sighs as your crying makes Tammy wail even more loudly. Your dad puts his arm around you as you let it out. Aww. -10 stress, +2 friendship with Tammy and Mars. And we gained a memory of stress crying. Same. That's how I deal with my problems. You wait, the shaking builds. Then everything starts to get very weird. The hallway stretches, and you're stretching too. Your arms impossibly long. Your head feels like it's slowly filling up like a balloon and contracting down to the size of an atom at the same time. Is this the wormhole? You hear the distant ominous squeal of metal giving away as the ship shudders and lurches in slow motion. The weirdest part is a sense of deja vu. You're sure this has happened to you before, and you know, somehow, that everything is going to be okay. The shuddering reaches a crescendo. Yeah. You hear an impossibly loud crunch and feel weightless for a few seconds before gravity slams you back against the wall headfirst. You black out. As you slip unconscious, you feel yourself twisted out of time. It's today, yesterday, and tomorrow all at once. And more than just one tomorrow. Lots of them. Different tomorrows. Okay, you find yourself in a place that you know from your dreams. Tilled fields, dramatic ridges, and a stranger. But also not a stranger. Grinning as she grabs your hand. Hurry up, she says. I'm not going to let you miss this. Okay. Distantly, you can feel the ship's shaking has stopped and you hear your parents' worried voices. Feeling safe, you slip further into the warm embrace of the stars. You drift. Gradually, your consciousness reforms. You wake up. Oh, shoot. You wake up in the medbay. The medbed under you plays a soft tone and an automated voice speaks. 2 weeks have elapsed. The patient's cranial injury has completed healing. They may now be safely discharged. As the fog lifts from your head, you realize something seems different about this room. It's so bright. You try to focus on the window. Something is definitely different. Sunlight? Trees? Ground? Sunlight. Instead of the familiar blackness of space, bright light from twin blue and yellow suns is streaming through the windows. You peer out and see fields, glass-walled domes and walls ringed by giant mushroom-like trees. There are construction materials everywhere, and people are walking around, outside, on the ground. You better get out there and join them. We're gonna rush outside and start our new life. I'm keen. Let's do it. We're brave. Well, not that brave. Okay, here we go. We get to run around. That's us. Hi, Tammy. How are you? Oh! Tammy jumps up as you step out of the ship's quarters behind her. You're awake! You've been asleep in the medbay for days. Are you all better? You rub your eyes. You do feel groggy. Everything is so strange. The air feels moist and the ground is covered with pale blue powder that crunches under your feet. The reflections of it are blinding. You squint and look up and then almost fall over from the vertigo. The sky goes on forever. Around you are fungal trees taller than anything you've ever seen before. Your heart pounds in your chest. Are you feeling okay, Solana? You better go see your dad, Tammy says, worried. He and your mum have been waiting for you to wake up. She points southeast towards some old geodesic domes. I think that's how you pronounce that. I hope so. Hey, Dad. How you doing? Anything else around here? No. Solana, your dad gives you a big warm hug. I'm happy that you're finally awake. Dr. Instance thought it'd be best to keep you asleep while your noggin healed. Your mother and I thought you might sleep away the whole year, my snoozy little gooseberry. He checks your head and looks relieved. He was clearly very worried about you, but covers it with jokes and smiles. Aw, I love you, Dad. Welcome to Vatumna, he says, gesturing around you. You've never seen the stratospheric from the outside, except in pictures. The ship has been separated in two, and parts taken off to form other buildings, and a big wall around the whole colony. The alien jungle creeps right up to the wall. Only the geodesic the geo greenhouses miles outside it, dotting their way up the hill. It is beautiful. I'm glad you agree, he says. Your mother and I, we've been waiting a long time to see grass and trees again, even if they are purple. I'd love to see purple grass and trees. Bring it on. Oh, before I forget, he pulls a package out from his satchel and hands it to you. You blink and stare at it blankly. Don't you know what day it is? He asks. You honestly don't. You remind him that you have been asleep in the med bay. Happy birthday, he shouts, wrapping you in a warm hug. Your birthday already? You feel a dizzying sense of deja vu. You stare at the wrapped package. You know what's in there. You remember it. No, you dreamed about this package some years ago on the ship. Inside will be a small medallion in the shape of a sun that your dad made by hand. Open the package. How did you know this? It's exactly as you imagined, as you dreamed. A feeling of panic rises in your throat. Your hand shakes. But how? Your dad notices. Are you okay, Solana? He snaps his fingers. Dr. Instance shouldn't have let you out so early. Sometimes those sleeping meds take a while to wear off. They might make your head feel funny for a few hours. You know, maybe that's all it is. Yeah, maybe it's just the meds, Dad. Someone shouts your dad's name. Listen, I'm so sorry, Solana, he says, but I have to get back to work. There was an accident when we landed and... He stops himself. Don't worry, we're going to fix it. Your mother and I. Professor Howell is expecting you in classes, if you're feeling up to it, your dad says, pointing west to the engineering wing in the rear end of the bisected ship. Then he points to the large doors you came out of earlier. Or you can relax in our quarters until you're feeling better. We'll talk later tonight, he says. Then kisses the top of your head and ruffles your hair. Have a wonderful birthday, Solana. I love you. I love you too, Dad. Good old Dad. Oh, hello. You see Dis sitting on the ground beside some bushes. Is he hiding from someone? He seems to be watching the gate in the hall, in the wall to the south, where grown-ups are coming and going. Kids aren't allowed past the walls, he says quietly. They say there's nothing to be afraid of. But then, why do we need walls? Kid knows something. You stare at the gate and have a sudden rush of memory so strong that you think you might faint. You imagine something crashing through the wall. Something enormous and dark and wriggly. For years in space, you've half remembered nightmares of monsters, of your ship being destroyed, of sifting through wreckage that used to be your home, trying to find something. Your dad always told you the dreams weren't real. Breaking you from your daydream, Dis whispers, I think there are monsters out there. I believe you. No, you don't, he says. Rude. You're being sarcastic, I can tell. Nobody believes me. Dis, you need to calm down. He turns his back and ignores you. They're huge and wriggly and dangerous. Oh, oops. Stop making fun of me, Dis pouts. You're as bad as Mars. I'm sorry, Dis. We could be friends. I'm sorry. I won't talk about the wriggly monsters anymore. Oh, hello. Hi, Solana. Anemone seems really at home here. She's rolling a sports ball around with her foot, making patterns in the weird blue snow. This stuff is different from snow on Earth, she tells you, because it isn't cold. But it's still neat, and you can make stuff out of it. Your foggy head clears a little. Anemone is simple, physical, real. You always feel grounded near her. What are you making? Just snow spirals, she says. But earlier me and Cal made a big snow pal. You missed it while you were sleeping in medbay. She smiles her broad gap-toothed smile at you. Now that you're awake, we can play. Have you seen any monsters? Nope, just some little bugs the grown-ups would say if they were monsters, right? Oh, Anemone. She shrugs and then smiles reassuringly. Even if there were monsters, Chief Rhett would beat them all up, so don't worry. My mum says we're safer here than we were in space. Your mum is very optimistic. You both look over at the wreckage of the Stratospheric, the spaceship where you were born. Anemone's mum, Auntie Seaton, is probably right about that. Look what the wormhole did to your ship. Why aren't you in school? School! I wondered where everyone was. I guess I'm going to be late for humanities class. She doesn't look very worried. It's okay, she says. Professor Howell is chill. He won't mind, but we should probably go now. She grins and starts running towards engineering. Hey, race you. No fair. She's getting a head start. Alright, let's get engineering. A low throbbing noise comes from the engine room, which provides power to the colony. Other corridors lead off to the teaching labs and medbay. You know the route to your classroom well, but the rest of this wing is off limits to children. Congruence, the ship's onboard AI, beams down at you from a nearby hollow screen. Don't forget to study hard, Solana. Pick an activity to do this month. Do we want to study life sciences or humanities? I'm gonna go with life sciences. Good afternoon, my burgeoning biologists and up-and-coming chemists. Professor Howe welcomes you back to your old classroom. This afternoon we'll learn what I like to call the wet sciences. He gestures to his hollow projected lesson plan. Biology, chemistry, medicine, ecology, and geology. You'll learn a bit of everything, with opportunities for further study in your favourite field. If you're looking for something a little drier, try registering for engineering classes. For today's lesson, Professor Hal tells you, we'll start with a fun group project. Oh, shoot. You'll be studying the mush tree, a prominent natural resource native to Vitamna. In the ideal conditions, it can grow at a speed of over a metre a day and have a diameter of up to 30 centimetres. He stands on his tiptoes and gestures to illustrate. Your team will experiment to find those ideal conditions. You're teamed up with Tang and Cow and given a mush tree spore and a bucket to grow it in. The rest is up to you. Tang looks up Surveyor's notes on the holonet. Mush trees, she reads, are most abundant south of the colony in the stormy, moist regions of the sebaceous swamp. Those are big words, Tang. What if we use water instead of soil, Cal suggests, like they do with hydroponics? Tang nods. If they like wet weather, that might work. Do you have any suggestions? Now, I'm going to be honest, I have played this before, and I am going to pick that we should run an electric current through it. I'd love to say I just made that up because of the stormy area, whatever, but yeah. What? Tang exclaims. Solana, how does that have any basis in reality? Most things in water. Like living things. It's like the Goa'uld in Stargate, right? Teal'c's Goa'uld gets pulled out and they can't figure out why it's not thriving in like the little tank they put it in, right? Because it's like, oh, it's in symbiote fluid or whatever, and then it turns out that you have to run a weak electrical current through the water, so that because like the body has weak electrical currents running through it, and the gold responds to that. And that's how you have living gold symbiotes. Hey, yeah, that's where I got that from. Promise. She looks to Cal for support, and he just shrugs. But he doesn't look convinced either. Neither understand why you want to electrocute a plant. I didn't say electrocute, I said electrical current, mate. You explain that there are storms in the swamp, electrical storms, and maybe that somehow, well, maybe Solana is right. Tang nods slowly. It could make sense, and if it is true, we'd be the first ones to discover it. This is enough to entice Tang into most things. You attach a small battery to run a weak current through a bucket of water and drop the spore in. I hope it's a marine battery, because like well, you need a battery that's designed to run a lower voltage, more consistent current, like electrical current. You can't use like a standard car battery for that sort of stuff because it's designed to deliver a higher dose of electricity in a shorter burst. If you use like a car battery or a battery designed for a similar purpose, it's going to burn it out real quick. So it needs to be something that's designed for like a lower voltage, more continuous stream. The next morning, your spore is the only one already growing, because we're amazing. By the end of the day, it's already half a meter tall, and the day after that, it's so huge it hits the ceiling and you have to move it outside, because we're amazing. Your tree outpaces all the others by a long shot. At the end of the week, Tang proudly displays an edit to the surveyor's holonet notes. Shows rapid growth when stimulated with a mild electric current, as discovered by our junior botanist. Yeah, we're crushing it. Okay, so we got 5 kudos and +1 to biology. We did it, chat. Alright, now we have to win this. Okay. Okay, that. So the aim of the card game is to line your cards up to get the most score, and you can, as you can see here, we've put 2 zeros next to each other, so even though they're not of the same colour, they still get a +1 for 2 of a kind. So does this. And these ones get a +1 for a flush, and it gets better with the amount that you have. So if you're not familiar with it, that's roughly how it goes. We also get a +1 to all challenges because of our sun medallion Dad gave us. Alrighty, so we're gonna win. And we got 3 stars. We got +1 biology. So we got +3 biology, and +1 reasoning, +15 stress, because, you know, we did work, and +1 kudos, plus an extra 1 from the best score we could possibly get. So you get extra stuff if you get the maximum score you can possibly get from the hand that you're dealt. Alrighty. Your parents have been working from first dawn to well after dinner every day. You know growing food is an important job, but it's vital to get crops in the ground right away. But there seems to be something more than that. It's such a change from growing up on the stratospheric, when you saw them all the time. You stay up and wait for them at night before going to bed. Though you can tell they're exhausted, they make an effort to spend time with you. Those are good parents, mate. I wouldn't know what that's like. I'm sorry we haven't seen much of you, little gooseberry, your dad says. Your mum watches you as she works a pebble out of her gardening tiller, which also serves as a crutch. How have you been holding up? I learned some stuff in school. I'm glad to hear that, your mum says. I want you to study hard, work hard, and stay out of trouble. Your dad smiles, and Professor Howell will give you kudos if you get good grades. Yeah, because we're like a teacher's pet, mate. You can spend those at the depot once it's open. You know, your dad says, raising an eyebrow at your mum. I think there are lots of different ways to learn, and school is just one of them. You can learn from working on a hobby or by helping a friend. Your mum shakes her head and sighs, though you can tell she's trying to put on a gentle expression. We both agree that this colony is an experiment, and that means we're going to do stuff differently than on Earth. You're old enough now to start making your own decisions about your education and future. And if that means you find your own way, we'll accept that. Your dad puts a hand on your shoulder. We'll be proud of you no matter what you do. Try talking to your friends. They may have ideas on how you can spend your time. When I was young, my friends had terrible ideas on how to spend my time. And now I'm here making videos on the internet. Yeah, I don't know. Are you proud of me, Mum? Are you proud of me? I'm gonna be a YouTuber. I promise. What do you mean that's not a real job? Rude. And come by geoponics, your mum adds. We could use your help. Unlocked shoveling dirt in geoponics. I cannot think of a better way to spend my day. I don't know. Wasn't that like a kid, that like 15-year-old or something that killed a kid, and she's like, yeah, I just like digging holes. She's like, he goes out into the woods and digs holes. It's just like, yeah, I just like to dig. That's what I do for fun. It's like, I think if you like digging holes, you might be a sociopath. There's evidence to support that. Hey, Anemone. Anemone is bumping a sports ball with her wrist, trying to keep it in the air. Heads up, she shouts, and bumps the ball in your direction. Think fast. I am not tough enough to do a trick, so look out, a ball is flying towards you. I'm going to bounce it back. You bounce the ball back and forth with her, trying to see how many times you can rally and keep it going. Anemone tells you about the new sports ball court, a proper regulation-sized court, way bigger than the little 0G one on the stratospheric. Her brother Com is coaching the junior sports ball team this year. Oh, that's awesome. He's so great, she says. He's good at everything, especially spiking. He's coaching me to play awesome like him. You should come join us. That sounds like a fun time. Okay. Hey, Dis. How you doing? Dis looks at his feet and pretends not to notice you. Okay, I can't dare him to eat a worm. Oh, hello. A sharp whistle interrupts your thought. Hey, Solana, Mars calls out to you. Come here, I have a job for you. You walk over to Mars, who's sheltering from the snow under the ship's overhang. It's so gross here, she complains. This spark snow would ruin my good clothes. At least on the ship we had climate control. Ugh. Tammy made me some soy sweets, but there is no way I'm going out there in this weather, she continues. Since you're like running around in it, you fetch them for me. Okay. Good, Mars claps. She's probably just down the hill near our quarters. She's scared to take more than a few steps from the door. All she wants to do is hide inside and make sweets. Oh. Hi, Tammy. Tammy is staring obliviously at the sky, smiling to herself. She startles as you approach. Oh, hello, Solana, she says, putting her hand to her chest. Do you need something? I'm here for Mars's soy sweets. Tammy smiles at you. Oh, it's so nice of you to help out Mars. She's a very important person, you know. She hands you a box wrapped in a pink and yellow scarf. One order of mango soy sweets made fresh this morning, she says. Please tell Mars that she can have the scarf back. Okay, she used some of her kudos to nanoprint it for me because it's so dusty here, but I think I'm getting used to it now. Tammy smiles again and tucks her hair behind her big elven ears. Mars is so cool, she says fondly. Sometimes she's kind of bossy, but I know she really cares too. No. Mars puts out her hand expectantly. Give it here. Here it is. You hand over the box of soy sweets with a smile. Mars takes it and giggles. You're such a good sidekick, doing everything I say. Rude. Mars is such a savage. She opens the box and hands you a soy sweet. Your tip, she tells you. Oh, an administrator seeks looking for someone to do delivery jobs for the depot, she says. I don't want to do it, because, like, ill, running around out there. No. Just go through the heat there, she says, gesturing to the door behind her, and tell him I referred you. Sure, Mars. Has Tammy got more to say? Hello, Tammy. You see Tammy sitting quietly near the entrance of the lounge. You've known her for, well, your entire life. Back on the ship, you used to... I would say... yeah, we used to play. Tammy had the best doll collection. After her mum died, her dad used all his nanoprinter creds to print her a different doll every month for a whole year. Her ears perk up when she sees you. Oh, hello, Solana, she says. Her voice is soft and dreamy, like a beam of starlight. Do you want to play dolls? Yeah, sure. Let's play dolls. You're never too old to play dolls, mate. You don't think Tammy will ever be too old to play with dolls. If anything, she has even more of them now. She takes you to her quarters and brings out the entire Spacey Stacy doll collection. Oh, fucking Spacey Stacy. A disturbingly realistic baby with real bowel movements and two super fancy posable dolls named Lily and Tilly who can be programmed to move on their own. Tammy isn't very good at the programming, so Lily and Tilly just roll around awkwardly when you turn them on. You cover it quickly by saying they must be breakdancing at a club. The two of you spend the afternoon making up stories of their rise to stardom as professional dancers. That little bit about, like, a disturbing... that's literally terrifying, mate. +1 empathy, +2 friendship with Tammy. No. Hey, Dad. Hello, my little potato, your dad exclaims, smiling warmly. What have you been up to today? I have been hanging out with friends. That Cal's a good boy, he says. And have you seen Anemone? She's been out by the garrison playing sports ball. I think she's spent every day outside since we landed. He chuckles to himself. Guess that's what happens when you've got enough brothers to make your own sports ball team. He breathes deeply and looks slowly around. Vertumna is magnificent, isn't it? You know, Seasons, he shouted, throwing his hands wide. I missed Seasons. Back on Earth, it got much, much colder, and the snow wasn't half as pretty as our spark snow. He sighs, stretching. You just wait until dust season. Both the suns will be high in the sky and it'll be real hot then, you'll see. No thanks. I already live in Australia and I hate the heat, so you can take that. And put it elsewhere. I would love to live somewhere where it snows. Please, sign me up. You find your mum hard at work setting up the greenhouses with a small construction crew. You've seen these plans pinned to the wall of your family's quarters for years now. These geodesic domes will house the more delicate plants from Earth. Spinach, tomatoes, maybe even fruit. She takes a swig from her canteen as you approach. Looking for something to do, she says. Remember, Solana, you're responsible for your own schedule now that we landed. You can decide how you want to spend your time, so long as it's productive. I feel like Mum's going to give me a lecture on my wasted potential. It's a bit too close to home for Lulu. She points towards the engineering wing, on the back half of the Stratospheric's severed frame. Professor Hal is still expecting you in class, but a well-rounded education includes practical application. You're old enough to help with the work around here. Cheers, Mum. She claps her hand on your shoulder. I've got another minute. Anything you need to know? What are you doing in geoponics? She looks down and nudges at a sprout growing between her feet. It's green, the colour of Earth's plants. We're doing our best, she said, but it hasn't been easy. I just hope the potatoes and corn can handle the weather here, she says, glancing up at the sky. I hear it rains like hell in the wet season. She takes a long look at you up and down. You're growing fast, Solana, but you're still too young for real farming. Instead, well, there's a lot of soil that needs to be hauled. Thanks, Mum. Manual labour. It's good for your growing bones. Seeing your disappointment, she nudges you on the shoulder. Don't pout, it'll help build those muscles. You'll need them now that we're out in the real world. Doing real work out here, we have to rely on our physical strength. She flexes her biceps. Your mum is really strong. Yeah, man, she looks tough. Got an Amazonian build. What's happening in engineering? Hal's teaching classes on life sciences, engineering, and humanities. If you pass all your tests, maybe he'll let you work there in a few years. Your father thinks you're old enough that school is optional. I don't agree, but I'll be honest with you, she says, gesturing to the fields. We do need every pair of hands we can get. If you want to work with me here in geoponics, I'd suggest studying life sciences. If you don't have a good grasp on biology or ecology, I'm going to stick you on shovel duty. Okay, I'm good with that. Thanks, Mum. Bye. Before she sticks me on shovel duty, let's go. Let's go study some life sciences. A low throbbing noise comes from the engine room. Yep. Don't forget to study hard. We're going to study life sciences. You learn about Vitumnum geology by comparing various rock samples from Earth to ones from Vitumna, placing them on the Mohs hardness scale. The Earth samples are so weird and grey compared to the pinks, purples, and yellows and teals collected by the surveyors. Earth must have been a dull place. I don't know, it's green sometimes. Like in winter. What do we got here? 4, 1, 0, 0, 2. Yeah, I think that's the best score we can get. Is that not the best score we could have gotten? Fuck. Total score 13 at a best score of 15. Shit. We failed! +1 friendship with Tangent. This week, you had a few more bouts of deja vu, remembering what somebody is about to say or do just before they do it. Sometimes they actually do it, but not always. This morning, you were sure Professor Hal was going to trip on an uneven floor in the cafeteria and spill his plate of hash browns. You even told Mars to watch. He didn't, though. That's what happens. When you try to, mess with the future or predict the future, you change it, right? That's how that works. It's not like a... What's that? There's a principle of it where it's the bystander... No, it's not the bystander effect. It's that lady with the apes. And it's but even by observing something, you have an impact on the effects. As Professor Howe walked away, his hash browns safe for today, Mars called you a liar and a dummy. Yeah? Fair. At night, your dreams are all mixed up with stuff that you know can't be real. You're chased by monsters the size of buildings, only to be saved by strange people you've never met. You're holding hands with someone you love. You're crying as you help lift a shrouded body into the colony recycler. Everything seems so familiar, but when you try to recall their faces, when you wake up, they're smeared in your memory like wet paint. But what if those things haven't happened yet, but they will someday? Anytime you try to tell someone, they think you're playing a trick, or that you're sick, or you need to go to the med bay. You eventually decide to stay quiet about your same strange dreams. Why? Because people will think you are insane. If you constantly tell people that you are having dreams that feel like memories and that you can predict the future, they will lock you up in a sanitarium. You don't want people to worry. That seems like the kind of thing. Your parents have so much on their minds already. You have a feeling that something is happening at Geoponics they don't want you to know. They don't understand it, but when they come home at night they look really sad. You don't want to make that worse. Fucking rough. If you just keep going to classes and staying out of trouble, it'll be easier for everyone, yourself included. Late quiet. Hey Tang. Just gonna drink some water. Tang is hunched over her hollow palm, frowning and poking angrily at the air. She speaks without looking up at you. Professor Howe wants us to prep a list of native flora with pictures. There should be a catalogue on the colony holonet, but I can't find it anywhere. Plants? Tried looking outside? Make our own list. Tangent is dubious but agrees to try your idea. The two of you run around the colony yard taking pictures of all the different Vitumnum plants you can find and making up fake sciencey sounding names for them, like Wonkius shrobius and Purplius gracium. After an hour, you've categorized 51 different species. Tang doesn't think it's a very complete list or a very scientific method, but she figures you must have learned something. That's cute. Anybody else want some chat? Cal wants some chat. Cal is riding around the geoponics gardens on his hoverboard. The board comes to a sudden shuddering stop on the rocky ground in front of you. Cal falls off but catches his balance before he eats dirt. Hi, Solana. Real ground is way harder to hover on than ship floors. There are bumps everywhere. We'll have to adapt. Yeah, Cal exclaims. Things are actually way better planet-side. Hovering outside is rad. Look at this. He runs over to a small depression in a nearby hill and presents it like it's like amazing. Look at this. It's a skate bowl. Cool. Can I try? Sure, but please be careful. Mum says if I break my hoverboard, we can't make another one. You take turns riding around the bowl, trying to get up enough speed to go down one side to come back up the other. You don't learn any tricks. It's hard just staying on the board with this uneven ground, but it's still fun. Aww. Ugh. The garrison. Yeah, no, we're not going to play sports, but we're going to go keep studying our life sciences. I think that's the route we're going down. Because we want to work in geoponics, I think. This week in biology class, you're learning about predators and prey. Professor Howe brings up a picture of a hop eye on the hollow projector and asks, who can tell me what special thing hop eyes do when they see a predator? Tang's hand shoots up. They hop away very quickly. That's why it's called a hop eye. Hal nods. That's true, but not what I was getting at. Tang stammers and looks upset, like she can't believe she got something wrong. Hal scans the class again. Anyone else? Solana? Do they thump their feet? You go with your gut and make a guess based on what you know about the behavior of communal animals. That's right, Hal smiles. Solana sounds like she might have met one before. Tang gives you an appraising look. Maybe she didn't expect this from you. Oh. Tang is a fan. Push through fucking. What can we do here? Okay, so I think we're gonna go. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go. No. Yeah, do that, and then. Let's see. Yeah, so that's a 7. It's 9. Yeah, I think that's the close. Yeah. Alright, we're gonna have to push through. Nice. Ooh. A hefty red Xeno egg. Okay. We are stressed. What can we do that's fun? Well, we can't play sports ball because apparently that's not fun. I don't know, man. I would say playing sports is fun. We do not want to shovel dirt. That sounds like a terrible time. We're going to relax in the lounge. The lounge is a long, well-lit hall along the outer hull of the ship's midsection. It's strewn with tables and cushions and serves as a communal living room for the tiny one-room spaces every family is assigned. You flop down into the lounge's big bean bag pile with some of the other kids. Cal has a dazed, peaceful look on his face. The air smells so good on Vatumna, and so does the dirt even. You notice his clothes are filthy, but obviously Cal couldn't care less. Anemone bounces in. Holy crap, there's so much space to run around and play in. Com and Chief Rhett set up an outdoor sports ball court, and it is way huger than the old one on the ship. Tangent carefully selects one cushion from the pile and perches on it. The school's expanding to some of the empty engineering bays, she tells you, and we're getting a big new lab to do experiments using local resources. There's so much to learn about this planet. Anemone rolls her eyes, but Tang continues. We shouldn't forget our studies just because we landed, she says primly. I want to explore the jungle. Solana is right, you hear over your shoulder, and when you startle to find Dis standing right behind you. Gah! When did he get here? Did you see those huge beasts in the jungle as we were landing? Dis continues, picking at a thread on his sweater until it unravels. I wonder if there are more out there. Oh. Ooh, we got some rebellion points. You've had less of the deja vu dreams come to life feeling this week, and you're starting to think you'd even imagined it, but suddenly you get a prickling sensation at the back of your neck and remember that Mars is about to enter the lounge and tell everyone to look outside. You stare at the door. Mars walks through it, as if on cue. OMG, everybody look outside. They're hoisting a flag over command, she says, clapping her hands excitedly. You know what that means, right? She stands tall with her hands on her hips. Vertumna is officially humanity's first exocolony ever. You look out at the flag, feeling dizzy, and silently mouth the words along to what she says next. You remember this moment so well. This is history, kids, she exclaims, wrapping Anemone and Tangent under an arm. And we were there. Yeah, we're going to keep our memories. You wake from an afternoon nap. You squint into the pink-tinged light slanting through the windows. You must have fallen asleep in the lounge. Tammy's shadow falls across the nest of pillows. I'm sorry, Solana, she says, giggling. I didn't mean to wake you up. It's just so nice outside. With pollen sparkling in the sunlight, I wanted to open up the windows. You rub your eyes blearily. Ugh, you're having the weirdest dream. Since you're awake, you should visit the cafeteria. Auntie Seaton is making a new kind of candy. She says it's made of cotton. Isn't that weird? I have to go tidy the creche first, and then I'll meet you there. Save some for me, okay? Tammy skips off towards the creche, humming to herself. Do you want candy? I don't want free candy. curl up and go back to a nap. You're relaxing your family's quarters after dinner. Your mum had to run off on some kind of council business, so you and your dad are playing a holo game together. When you're just about ready to head off to bed, your mum returns. You can tell from the defeated slant of her shoulders that something has gone terribly wrong. This is one of the biggest, saddest moments in the game, right at the very beginning. This is the first major gut punch event. So, yeah, let's be warned. It's pretty heavy. Your dad starts to ask what's happened, but she waves him away and approaches you. She sits down and takes your hand, holding it between her two strong, dirt-creased ones. Solana, I'm very sorry to have to tell you this. She starts. Her mouth quivers as she swallows, working on her next words. There was an accident this afternoon in the crash. Your classmate, Tammy, has passed. You try to understand her words. Tammy? Gone? That's not possible. Plus 50 stress. Gain status in morning. What happened? Your mum tells you as simply as possible that Tammy was hit by an electric shock from a broken holo projector. It was an accident. You press her for an explanation. A little girl is gone. Someone you'd grown up with. Someone so much like you. She wasn't sick or anything. You just saw her this morning. She was right there. Why? Your mum's eyes are sad when she tells you. Sometimes there's just no reason why. You aren't used to dealing with passing, and you don't know what you're supposed to say or do. You sort of mumble, okay, and then get changed and crawl into bed a full hour before your bedtime. You try to fall asleep, but you toss and turn for hours. Yeah. Hey, Tangent. Tang is pacing around the front of engineering. She looks upset. It shouldn't have happened, she says. What happened to Tammy? It shouldn't have been possible. There was no reason for that holo projector to break. Professor Howell said it was recently serviced and nothing was wrong with it before. She gestures angrily. Just blew up for no reason. Nobody would have wanted to hurt her, so why? How? It doesn't add up. Sorry, Solana. I want to think about this some more. I hate when I can't find the answer. Can you believe Tammy passed? Jis asks, morbidly. You hear Chief Engineer Instance tell... I heard Chief Engineer Instance tell someone about it. He lowers his voice. Tammy got shocked by a broken holo projector. The one in the crash with the dancing teddy bear, you remember? Really inappropriate time for a joke, but I always knew Five Nights at Freddy's would kill someone in a different universe. When she touched it, she got chucked all the way across the room. He makes a sailing motion with his hand, and bam! She was gone before she even landed. Wow, really? Just suddenly looks embarrassed. Yeah, I mean, it's too bad she's gone. She was nice. He tugs at the sleeves of his oversized jacket, but that's kind of a cool way to go. Whatever it takes, Dis. Anemone is chucking rocks at Strato, sending a metallic clangs ringing through the colony. Stupid planet, she yells. Stupid crash. Stupid spaceship. She bends down to pick up another rock, but instead just sobs and braces her hand on her knees. Stupid everything. Why'd she have to go? It's not fair. Kids aren't supposed to go. Oh. Cal is sitting in your mum's flower garden with his face in his hands. He's clearly been crying all morning, and probably all of yesterday too. He and Tammy were really close. Whenever you guys used to play house in the crash, Tammy was always the mummy and Cal was the daddy. Even though you were just little kids, you kind of always giggled about how obviously they were going to be together forever, like a princess and a knight. I miss her too. Me too, he sniffs, looking up at you. You can see how puffy and red his eyes are. Me really, really too. Tammy always liked these flowers, he mumbles. Sometimes I picked some for her. He runs his hands over the pretty white flowers. Don't tell your mum, okay? Tears well up and slowly leak out of his eyes. He doesn't even blink, just stares at the flowers as the tears run down his cheeks. You decide to give him some space. Mars is staring into space, looking somber. She doesn't even notice as you come up beside her and barely reacts when you say hello. I'm thinking about Tammy, she says quietly. She used to sit down the hill there, in that spot in the sun, every morning. She'd just sit there for hours in the sun, doing nothing, just being happy. You stare down the hill, at the spot near the entrance to the quarters. You can imagine her there, working on some little craft project, humming to herself. Miss her too. Now she's gone, Mars says, making a face. How's that for fair? Of all the people, how come it had to be my friend? You don't have an answer. You've never heard Mars call Tammy her friend before. But of course she was. Tammy was everyone's scared little sister, even though she was older than most of you. Mars clicks her tongue. Oh yeah, Administrator Seek is looking for you. I guess they need someone to do delivery jobs. She waves vaguely at the door behind her, distracted by her thoughts. Yeah, we don't have enough that. Yeah, that's fine. Oof. Oh. Dad gave us a hug and told us he's sorry. Mum also said she's sorry. I guess... yeah. The colony is going to hold a funeral for Tammy. Do you want to attend? If you don't feel up to it, you could just skip it and take the month off instead. Or you could get back to work. Let's go. The colonists gather in the recycling room. Bringing organics down to be recycled here is one of your chores. But you've only come here for a funeral twice. Both times a colonist had passed away from natural causes during the 20-year-long journey from Earth. This is the first time there's been a funeral on Vatumna, and the first time for someone you actually knew. The mouth of the organics recycler has been polished, and a wreath of yellow flowers placed over the opening. Inside you can see a shrouded figure. Tammy's small, fragile body. Tammy's dad, Uncle Tonnen, is here, as well as your parents and Auntie Seaton and the rest of the council. Cal is here with his mum and her partners, already crying in their arms. The room is packed with people and the feeling of grief is so thick you can taste it in your mouth. Governor Udicott stands before the assembled crowd. There are no words to ease the pain we feel today, she begins. There is only the sad company of those who left us behind to share the burden of that grief. Tammy was our child, she continues. One of the first humans to be born in space, and one of the first to pass on an alien planet. In her short life, she exemplified the very arc of human accomplishment, bending hopefully towards life beyond our humble Earth. She is the first of us who can truly call Vatumna home. Her passing was as senseless as it was sudden. Losses like this are impossible to hold within oneself. A painful reminder that life is impossibly precious and fragile. But they also remind us, as always, that as a community we are capable of great strength. Udicott closes the door to the recycler. You hear Uncle Tonnen sob over the hum of the particle disintegrators beginning their work. As a community, we remember Tammy. As a community, we return her body to the soil that nourishes us. In this way,
Tammy, our child from the stars, will never truly be lost to us. The ceremony is adjourned, but a few people stay back to console Uncle Tonnen as he keeps vigil over the recycler. Cal and Uncle Tonnen hold each other and weep openly. Your mum stays behind to receive Tammy's remains. As the head of geoponics, she'll be responsible for adding them to the colony's precious supply of brown soil from Earth. Your dad accompanies you out of the recycling room. He clears his throat. I want you to know that you don't need to be okay, he says, clasping his warm hand on your shoulder. If you want to take the rest of the month off, everyone's going to understand. Yeah, I think we're going to take the month off. The prospect of going back to school, like everything is normal, is just too much to handle. You end up spending the whole month alternating between sleeping, scrolling the holonet, and staring into space. It's restful, at least, and everyone gives you the time you need to process Tammy's passing. Solana Tangent says, approaching you with purpose, we need to discuss my brother. Who, Dis? Yes, Dis, she says impatiently. I need you to figure out where he's been disappearing ever since we landed. I barely see him anymore. He doesn't even come home at night sometimes, and well, I'm not on very good terms with my brother of late. But people are becoming worried. You get the feeling Tang is the one who's worried, but she doesn't want to admit it. I'll talk to him. He probably won't tell you. Newton's apple, she swears. He won't even talk to me anymore. She sighs. You may have to follow him. I would, but everyone in the lab would know I was gone. No one cares where he goes during the day. Expressing your concern through anger is not a healthy way to do that. You harvest a sturdy mushwood log. Nobody else wants some chat today. We need friendship level 10 with Dis or greater. Let's go back and study some more life sciences. This week in biology class, you're studying sugar bugs. This native species look like purple marshmallows about the size of your fist, all puffy and squishy and kind of cute. They don't move or do much, but if you tickle them, they exude an edible syrup from a hole on the top of their bodies. And now, says Professor Howe, you're going to dissect one. Refuse to do it on ethical grounds. Dissect that cute little sugar bug. Yeah. You're given a, thankfully, already deceased sugar bug to work on. The moment your scalpel slices it open, a horrid smell assaults you. Sweet like rotting fruit. Yuck. You see Tang trying not to gag too. Dissection! Okay. You carefully section your sugar bung into 6 discrete organs. You take a photo with your hollow palm and carefully fill in the labels for all the parts. It's pretty good, Tang says, peeking at your work. These things are slipperier than I was expecting. Parts of mine are still moving. That's concerning. Great job, class. Now we're going to leave them overnight. What? The next morning, your class is in for a surprise. The sugar bugs are alive again! And there are more of them! Your teacher explains that their DNA is so malleable that almost any part of a sugar bug can turn into any other part if it needs to. The resulting sugar bugs are smaller, but will eventually grow into full-size ones. Autumnal biology is weird. It's time for Vertumnalia. Udicott and the council have called a festival to celebrate life here on the planet of Vertumna. Everyone gathers in the colony square to hear the Governor Udicott's speech. In Earth's history, Udicott begins and then declares her throat and waits for everyone to quiet down. In Earth's history, Vertumna was known as the god of seasons, change, gardens, and fruit. It's no coincidence that our forebears of the Vertumna project chose to take on such an auspicious name, in the hopes of seeding future bountiful seasons of humanity. We will continue this tradition on Vertumnalia, a midsummer festival to celebrate our Vertumna, this lush planet upon which we find ourselves today. Yeah, we're gonna clap. We are good little citizens. Governor Udicott, Chief Administrator Seek, Security Chief Officer Rhett. Yep, okay, that's fine. When it's your mother's, for Lulu's turn, she announces that tonight you'll be eating some of the very first crops grown on from Vertumnan soil. Your eyes go to the feast table. Aboard the Stratosphere, it would have been mostly soy-based food from the nanoprinters, spiced up with what precious fruits and vegetables could be grown in the small growing bays. This year, the Earth plants look even less robust than usual, but they're supplemented by some Vertumnan plants you've come to appreciate, juicy potato pods and slabs of edible fungi. Udicott takes stage after everyone on the council has said their piece. What is a festival without festivities, she asks. Professor Howell and Security Chief Rhett have organised a 3-part competition for the kids. Good luck, children. Which one do you join? I can't join any of them. I'll just watch. Anemone wins the strength competition, Mars wins the talent competition, and Tangent wins the science fair. Totally predictable. After the festivities are over, everyone takes time off for a much-needed break. During the fierce heat of dust, a few days' rest is exactly what you need. You feel refreshed. Alrighty guys, I think I'm going to end the stream there. Come back tomorrow and play some more exocolonist. Yeah, that was pretty heavy. It's been a little while since I played, and yeah, that first gut punch is pretty heavy. But we'll be back for more gut punches, because I am nothing if not a glutton for punishment. I'll see you guys in the next one.